Hi there, this is just a boring update. Uh, what a great way to start a video, I must say. I mean, good God. How many people just switched off already or just got onto another page or decided to check their email straight away? I mean, how many people decided that, internet porn would be much more interesting than sitting down watching me talking about like some kind of boring update? How many people would be like looking out the window to try and work out what the weather is going to be like by 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Just because I started the video saying this is a boring update. Anyway, this is an update, and it probably is a little bit boring for some of you people, but for some of you who are like more interested in what I do and what's actually been happening in my life, you might find this a little more interesting. Now, if you've been watching some of my previous videos, you'll know that I have been very concerned about one major issue, and that is trying to cover my tax bill. I've been living on a subsistence income essentially as a result of the financial crisis, and my earnings just sort of went right down. And I've still got to declare my taxes, I've still got to pay my taxes, I declare all my income, every single penny, okay? And as a result of that, I've got a certain quantity of money to pay by the end of January. Now, I've made it. I've got the money together, and in about 1 hour's time, or thereabouts, once the bank is opened, I'm nipping down and I'm going to move money from this, that, and the other account, shove it all into one, and then, make the transaction and be free and know that, boom, yes! Finally, that's actually happened. Just a quick word on the side. I've achieved this without any form of e-begging. I've achieved this with something called hard work and dedication. I know there are some YouTube users out there who do just e-beg. Alright, that's like the way that they make a living. I don't do that. Yes, I make mistakes in business sometimes. I make mistakes in my videos sometimes, and I've got to bear the brunt of that. But I do try. And yes, I can't guarantee that things are going to be perfect forever. And once in a while, in a few years' time, if things do get difficult, I might have to say, just chip in 50 cents or something like that. But at the moment, I have actually done it. I was actually very concerned because I didn't think all the pennies would actually line up, so to speak. But essentially, it has. I've had other irons in the fire. I've been trying to sell one of my domain names, thinking that that money's going to come through at the right time. Well, basically, it hasn't come through at the right time. So essentially, I've had to prepare in case. And through changing which services I work on, because some of the services pay monthly, some of them pay weekly. So I've got to start planning like about, at the bare minimum, 3 or 4 months ahead. Alright, sometimes even 6 or 8 months ahead to try and get all the money together. But I can't always do that. If you're on a subsistence living, alright, you're only just surviving, basically. You can't actually get money together. You can't put, pound coins in a savings account and try and look after it. You got to do something else. So this is the way I've done it, and it's thank the Lord, it's all worked out according to plan, roughly speaking. For me, it's been a bit of a drama. I know that the weather's getting colder. We're going to have another cold snap when we hit, end of January, beginning of February. That's when we typically get more snow here in England. My sister's birthday is in early February. Happy birthday if you're watching. And she always says, it always snows on my birthday, and it usually does. There's usually some snowfall somewhere in the country around her birthday, because this is the time when it gets colder. And after the last cold snap, which really sort of like drained money out of my electric and gas meter, I was really rather worried as to how things were all going to work out. So, this is life for Nick Dutch in a recession. It wasn't always like this. Before the crisis hit properly and the core volume went right down, things were actually a little more okay. And although I had to work loads of hours in a day to try and make the grade, I could still do it, and I was taking like a lot more money than I'm taking at the moment. Some people say to me, like, if you're not making all that much money, why do you do this? Why do you work as a professional tarot reader? Why are you a fortune teller? Well, apart from the fact that I enjoy it, and also I'm good, which means that I can actually use my time to try and find ways of helping other people, giving them perspective, seeing how I can just bring someone slowly, bit by bit, through a series of consultations to the point whereby they can actually understand their situation better. If I can't do it straight away on the first call, alright, I can start bringing them there. That makes me feel good. I mean, I would love to be, someone like Richard Coughlan, who can be a great comedian when he puts his mind to it, okay? But I'm not that type of person. I'm a much more serious individual, and I'm also a variety of empathic individual. I like caring for individuals. And you can't do that when you're working in a finance department. You can't do that when you're working as an electronic engineer necessarily, okay? But you can do that if you're working as a tarot reader. I mean, would the life of a counselor really really suit me. I don't think that the rhythm of the working life actually suits my biorhythm, so to speak. And I need to be able to take time off when I can, and also work harder other times when I can to try and make things work out. Okay, this style of work is what's right for me. It is my niche, and it makes me feel good. As I'm sure I said before, I get people calling me back, and saying, I spoke to you last 12 months ago, or 9 months ago, or 2 years ago, and if you hadn't said what you'd said, I'd have lost the house, the wife, the job, the car, the husband, and all these things. So there's something about what I do which is right, and there's something about what I do which does go out and influence people. Okay, we're nearly at February now, and there's going to be that wonderful presentation in a certain well-known arena, in a certain well-known location here in England, where there's going to be this talk about adoption. And this lady is doing a talk about adoption. She's going to read out a poem, which is going to help people to start feeling empathic towards children who need to be adopted. Now, that one lady, she was one of my customers. And she was losing hope and faith. And she called me, and I gave her that hope and faith back. So my words will give her the ability to do that particular presentation. And because of that, children will get loving families. You see, being in the world of the way we are at the moment, I'm just sitting here at my desk, I'm talking to a digital camera which is on a tripod. There's no one else in the room around me, but there's something about what I'm saying here which can have an influence upon somebody else, and that influence could be good. Alright, whether it's just calming someone down, giving someone a bit more perspective, giving them hope or enthusiasm for something, helping them to see life in a better light. All these things, like little ripples on a pond, they can really, really build up with the passage of time, and then bigger things can occur. I mean, who would have thought it, that someone like me could say something that could help hundreds of children, possibly thousands, possibly millions worldwide, get new, loving homes. It's amazing. It really is amazing. When I work as a tarot reader, I get people who've got problems. I can't help everybody out there. Some people have got problems I can't help with. Some people, they want hope for something that's not going to happen. But if it's my job to provide them with some perspective, or to give them some way of looking at a situation that would help them to just calm down and get some perspective so that they can take responsibility over their life, then that can be a big effect. And sometimes when there's an individual who's just living on hope, and they're not looking at they're not reading between the lines of the reading I'm giving them, it can make me feel sad. But if they do go back over what I've said, and they think about the words I've used, and they think about the changes that have happened during the readings, and they correlate that with the way in which they're changing and they're progressing, then they'll start to see a real benefit in what I'm trying to give them. And it doesn't happen overnight. Okay? It doesn't happen overnight. There is a benefit to making people happy enough. I go to this business networking meeting once in a while, and there's this one lady there who got a reading from me, and I saw her change as a result of that reading. She was able to knuckle down much more to her business. She started developing a bit of enthusiasm. She used the hope I gave her so that she can make some intelligent decisions, and she started to develop more faith in herself, and now she's doing okay. And I think that what would have happened if she hadn't had my words, or hadn't spoken to me? These little ripples can mount up to something big, but you've got to learn how to use them. You've got to learn how to use your intelligence, your mind, and think in depth. That, I can't help you with everything, because I've got a very, a limited area to work with. Okay, it can be relatively broad, but essentially it's relatively limited. But for me, the most rewarding thing is seeing that change, or saying those words which have an impact. Getting children adopted, helping somebody with their business, calming someone down and seeing perspective about their relationship, helping someone to have some hope so they don't have a nervous breakdown and go into intense depression. These are the things which keep me wanting to come back. And I can't guarantee it's going to be every single customer. Maybe it's 1 in 10 customers. Maybe it's 1 in 100. It varies. It can be every single day. And I can say to myself, yep, that was the one. I've really helped them. But it can't be there for everybody. Which is difficult. And that's why this is an entertainment service. But it's an entertainment service which once in a while does an awful lot of good. That's why I do it. And that's why I don't mind being poor. Being skint is another matter, but you know, I don't mind being poor. I can cope with it because I've got a niche in the world.